Hey guys, how's it going tonight? Tom here. So I was thinking it would be fun to do a series, like my first series. So I'm going to do that. Sorry, in a weird mood tonight. So what I was thinking of doing was something behind Lush, fragrance and cosmetics company. Some people, their fragrances, love them. Some people hate them. I'm a fan. I think they're incredibly unique, and they're all incredibly different smelling. I've never smelled anything like them. There's an oddness and a uniqueness about all of them, and I think that that's why I like them as much as they do. I do, because they don't smell like anything that I've ever encountered. A lot of them. Some of them are way out there. Others are just very good, and some I don't care for that much. But they're all incredibly different and incredibly unique and very interesting, I think. And I think they're all pretty well made, very well made. They're actually headquartered in Poole, Dorset, in the United Kingdom. In 1994, they were founded by husband and wife team, Mark and Mo Constantine, and their first store was under the name of Cosmetics House Limited. Now they've grown to a chain of like 600 stores in 43 different countries. They're very big on animal rights, no animal testing, on using natural ingredients in their products. Their products are 100% vegetarian, 81% vegan, and 70% preservative free. So they make a whole line of like bath products, body products, hand creams, face like exfoliants, soaps, shampoos, and fragrance. All of it's handmade, and it's kind of cool if you look into their history a little bit and look at some of the pictures online. It actually shows photos of their assembly process and more or less where they're working. It looks like a big kitchen, and they use a lot of cooking utensils, actually what would be used in a professional kitchen. There's like muffin tins and things to make these odd kind of products. And they're all about minimalism in packaging and being environmentally friendly. So when you go into the stores, a lot of it is just setting out, and you're hit right away with that smell of like shampoos and soaps and cosmetics. And I'm a fan of anything that smells. So I've been a big fan of theirs for a long time. Some of the stuff they make, like I've got one of their bubble bars here. And one of their bath bombs that turns like multicolors, like a big thing that's made up of, I think, bicarbonate of soda to make it fizz. This stuff is called Gumback Express, and it's actually used in the shower as an exfoliant. It's made out of bananas and almonds, and it looks like pudding. And it smells like delicious, like bananas, and yes, I tasted it, and it I did, and it tastes like somebody crapped in a bushel of bananas, so don't taste it. Just a tip. It smells really good though. The exfoliants for your skin, this one's called Angels on Bare Skin, and it's made up of lavender and ground nuts, and if you can see that, it looks like some kind of cookie dough stuff, but anyway. Oh, they have these toothy tab things that look like little pills. You can hear that. It's just a little capsule, and you crush it in between your front teeth and brush your teeth with it instead of toothpaste. So all kind of cool stuff that I think is really neat. My pal Alex, Masters of Style, whose channel I love, is he does like a fragrance combination lifestyle channel. So shout out to him because he has an awesome channel. I've watched it all the time. But anyway, he's a fan of Lush and does several reviews on them. So I'll put a link to his channel down below also. You should check that out. Okay, so getting into the meat and potatoes of what the series is going to be about now, after I blabbed forever. This fragrance I've had for a while now, and it impressed me a great deal. Uh, just because I haven't smelled anything like it, and it was so completely unusual to me that I wanted to find out more about it. So, sorry. Okay, so Smell of Freedom. This is the largest size that they carry, and it is 1.0 fluid ounces, 30 milliliters. It's just way unusual. Like nothing I've ever smelled before. So I wanted to find out more about it. So I did some research on the fragrance itself, and it turns out that this is actually three different fragrances combined into one. So it's equal parts of each of these three fragrances, a third, a third, a third, and nothing else is added to this other than the three fragrances. And I think that's part of why I thought it was so unique. I like it a lot, but it's just unusual smelling, and it smells like a lot of things going on, and I couldn't pinpoint one particular thing, and I think it's because it's three actual fragrances combined. So the story about how these three fragrances got into one and the Smell of Freedom is kind of what I want to base the series on. And I'm going to take one of the individual fragrances for each segment. So basically, the Smell of Freedom is three fragrances went into this bottle, all based on stories of people that overcame terrible adversity and came out on the other side better people in the long run with a positive, healthy outlook on life and doing good things for their communities. So I thought that was a neat story, and I did research on it and learned what the three fragrances that Smell of Freedom was based on, or what is actually in this, what three fragrances. So the first one is Fire Tree. And this is the actual full bottle size. It's the only size it comes in, 15 milliliter, 0.5 fluid ounces. And these three, so this is the first part that makes up Smell of Freedom. It's got a little, there's no sprayer, no nothing. It's like a little shaker top. And it's actually jojoba oil. So it's more like concentrated perfume oil instead of, well, this one is alcohol based, Smell of Freedom. The actual three components of that fragrance are oil based. So this is kind of like a perfume extract, I guess, kind of like an attar maybe. It kind of goes on like what a tribute or a homage attar by Amouage would. So pure oil. The story behind this one and the story of the adversity behind it is around Australia and the native Aboriginal people, and the persecution that they endured and how their culture was more or less obliterated. So now when you go to Australia nowadays, there's only a remnant of what it used to be. The Aboriginal culture is all but gone. And Mark Constantine went to Australia and toured a memorial in the form of a tree where seven Aboriginal people were shot for being accused of stealing cattle from a cattle ranch, and the cattle were later found. They hadn't stolen them, but they were shot and killed because of that. And Mark Constantine met an Aboriginal lady who had undergone persecution and ended up traveling the world, being married to a French duke, living abroad, being very successful, very positive despite the persecution of her homeland people, and ended up going back to Australia and living partially as an Aboriginal person, eating the bush tucker and everything. And this kind of this portion of Smell of Freedom kind of really resonates with me because I was actually in Australia year before last, and went on a Aboriginal bushwalk with natives as the guide through the Blue Mountains of Australia, and to hear and heard stories about the culture and what had happened to it, and got to eat the actual plants and bush tucker and what have you, and it was a great experience. Other than halfway through, I fell off a log in the middle of the mountains into a stream and broke my leg, fractured it. So we were in the middle of nowhere, no civilization anywhere, halfway through this trip, so I ended up crawling the last 3 hours. But I digress. Anyway, so anyway, the first one is based on this lady who overcame adversity and had a wonderful, positive, fulfilling life, and went back to her homeland to live in the Aboriginal way. So that's Fire Tree. Notes of Australian sandalwood, lemon myrtle, and fire tree, Australian fire tree oil. So that's the first one. The second one that Smell of Freedom is based on is Old Delhi Station. I know you probably cannot even read that because the type is so light on it. It looks homemade, like somebody typed something on a typewriter that's almost out of ink. But this one is based on the story of a Tibetan monk who underwent persecution in Tibet. He was he was imprisoned for his religious beliefs. At 16, was tortured, escaped prison, and crossed the Himalayan mountains on foot into Nepal to escape persecution. Had no food during that time and ended up eating balls of snow that he put salt on to survive. When he got into Tibet, he was then deported to India and ended up caring for other refugees from Tibet, and was very positive and had a great life despite his adversity and never complained. So this one, Mark Constantine based this on the train station in Delhi when he got back from meeting with this gentleman, and the smells that were present there in the station, and that is notes of spicy ginger, clove, and black pepper. So that's the second one. The third one is based on a prisoner who was unfairly imprisoned without trial at Guantanamo Bay. He endured strife, went on a hunger strike because he was unfairly imprisoned, and was force-fed as a result for 2 years. He had a baby right before he was captured and went into prison. He missed the child's upbringing, but still said he felt very blessed to be alive and was thankful and grateful for what he had. So that one, which is the last one of the three, is Oud Heart, based on notes of oud oil, frankincense, and sandalwood. This one is about 3 times as expensive as the other two were because of the oud notes. So how this series, I think, will break down. I will do first a review of Fire Tree, then a review of Old Delhi Station, then a review of Oud Heart, so that'll be parts 1, 2, and 3. Then part 4, review of Smell of Freedom. So that'll finish the Smell of Freedom portion. Then for part 5, I'm going to do a review of Breath of God, because I think it's fascinating scent. And this is actually the solid perfume. Looks like a chapstick. And then for part 6, I just want to do a first take, because I just have the samples on Ladyboy. I need remedial camera class. Is that upside down? The Smell of Weather Turning. Superworld Unknown. Dear John. So stay tuned for part 1. Take care.